In a quiet town nestled between hills and whispering trees, I shared a life with a woman I loved, Emma. We had been married for 5 years, and in that time, we built a life that many would call ordinary. But to me, it was everything. Our home wasn't grand, but it was ours. A cozy two-bedroom cottage with wooden floors that creaked with history and windows that bathed the rooms in soft morning light. The walls were covered in a mixture of my neatly framed tech prints and her vibrant paintings. It was a living gallery of who we were: Emma, the dreamer with paint on her hands, and me, the guy who spent too many hours coding in silence but always looked up when she called my name. Emma was an artist, not just by title, but by nature. Everything she did with feeling. She poured her soul into the canvas, into our meals, into the way she said, "I love you," with a glance. And me? I was a software engineer. Logical, structured. I lived in a world of lines and code, of problems that had clear solutions. Emma's world was a swirling storm of color and emotion, and that's probably why I fell in love with her. She brought chaos to my order, and I needed that. But even love, deep and real as it may be, isn't immune to friction, especially when our worlds clash. It started small. A comment here, a little worry there. I noticed the people Emma had started spending time with, mostly artists and free spirits, people who drank wine like water and lived like the rules didn't apply to them. At first, I admired their boldness. But over time, their carelessness began to bother me. I didn't say much. I didn't want to be the jealous or controlling husband. But I couldn't ignore the unease creeping in. Then one evening, as we were washing dishes together, Emma turned to me with that familiar spark in her eyes. "Liam, Jess is throwing a birthday party next Saturday. It's going to be huge. Everyone will be there." I dried my hands and leaned against the counter. "Jess, as in, the one who ended up passed out in your studio last month." Emma laughed. "Yeah, that Jess. But come on, it was her birthday then, too. She just overdid it. It happens." I try to hide the knot forming in my chest. "Emma, I'm not trying to be that guy, but I don't know if that's really your scene anymore." She raised an eyebrow. "What do you mean, my scene?" I hesitated. "I just mean, that crowd tends to go a little overboard. You know what happened last time. I worry, that's all." Emma rolled her eyes and wiped her hands. "Liam, it's one night. I'm not going there to drink myself silly. I just want to have fun with my friends. You worry too much." Maybe I did, but that didn't make it any easier. "I'm just asking you to be careful," I said, softer now. "You know I trust you. I just don't trust everyone else." She stepped closer and wrapped her arms around me. "I promise. I'll be smart. You don't have to stress. I need a night out just to breathe a little, you know?" I nodded. "Okay, just let me know if you need anything. And please check in, even just a quick text." She smiled, kissed my cheek, and said, "I will." The night of the party came faster than I expected. Emma looked beautiful. Her hair loose in waves, that silver necklace I bought her glinting under the hallway light. I stood by the door as she slipped on her heels. "You sure you don't want to come with me?" she asked. I shook my head. "I'd only feel out of place." "Go enjoy yourself." She gave me one last look, then left with a cheerful wave. The door clicked shut, and the house fell into silence. I sat on the couch for a while, remote in hand, flipping through channels, but not really watching anything. Eventually, I turned everything off and just sat in the dark. As hours passed, I kept checking my phone. Nothing. I told myself not to panic, but the silence felt deafening. It wasn't about not trusting her. It was about the people she was with, the environment, the reckless kind of fun that had no brakes. Midnight. Still no word. I stared at the ceiling, overthinking everything. Was I being overprotective? Too rigid? Or was I justified in worrying, especially after what had happened at that other party? Finally, around 1:30 a.m., the front door opened. Emma walked in laughing to herself, humming a song. She kicked off her shoes and looked radiant, glowing from the buzz of energy, not alcohol, thankfully. "You're still up?" she asked. "Yeah," I replied quietly. "You should have seen Jess. She danced like a maniac. The DJ played this weird techno-folk mix, and it was actually good." I tried to smile. "Sounds like you had a good time." "I did. You really should have come." I nodded, but said nothing more. The weight in my chest hadn't lifted. If anything, it had grown heavier. She didn't notice, or maybe she didn't want to. She changed and crawled into bed, asleep in minutes. I lay there awake, staring at the ceiling, the distance between us feeling much larger than the space in our bed. The next morning, the light was warm and golden, but I felt cold. I woke up early, threw on a hoodie, and left the house without waking her. I walked the long path through the park, past the pond, the playground, the old trees that leaned over like they had secrets to tell. I wasn't angry. I was just numb. Hurt, I guess. I had spoken from my heart, and it felt like my words hadn't mattered. And maybe that's what scared me the most, that we were starting to talk without really listening. When I came home, I didn't say much. Emma greeted me with a smile. "Want to grab brunch?" I nodded, but my silence said more than words. She frowned. "Liam, are you okay?" Still, I said nothing. I didn't want to fight. I didn't want to guilt trip her. I just wanted her to feel what I felt, the quiet ache of being ignored. The day dragged. She kept trying to make me laugh, to pull me back into the light. But I stayed quiet. I wasn't punishing her. I was just retreating. Finally, in the late afternoon, she snapped. "Liam, what is this? Why are you acting like this? Talk to me." I set the book I was pretending to read on my lap and looked at her. "You didn't listen to me, Emma. I asked you to be careful. You acted like I was just being annoying." Her eyes widened. "This is about the party?" "It's about what the party meant," I said. "It's not that you went. It's that you dismissed how I felt. I opened up about something that bothered me, and you brushed it off like it didn't matter." She stepped back a little, eyes searching mine. "I didn't mean to make you feel that way. I wanted to enjoy one night with friends. I didn't realize it was hurting you. I wasn't trying to control you," I said. "I just wanted to be considered." Emma sat down next to me, her voice softer now. "You're right. I didn't consider how deeply that affected you. I thought you were just worrying, like you always do. But I didn't see how serious it was to you. I'm sorry." I looked at her, and I could see she meant it. "I want you to have fun," I said. "But I also want to feel like we're in this together. That what I say matters." She nodded, tears welling up. "It does. You do. I'll be better about that. I promise." That night we talked. Really talked. No distractions. No phones. Just us. We unpacked more than just the party. We unpacked everything we'd let pile up in silence. The frustrations, the little hurts, the unsaid things. And somewhere in that conversation, we found each other again. Afterward, as we lay on the couch wrapped in a blanket, Emma said, "Next time something bothers you, don't go quiet. Tell me, even if it's messy." I smiled. "Deal. And next time you want to go out, maybe invite me along." She laughed and nudged me. "Maybe I will. We're not perfect. No couple is. But that night reminded me that love isn't just about being there during the big moments. It's about listening when the other person speaks, even if it's uncomfortable. It's about showing up emotionally, not just physically. And now, whenever Emma gets invited to another party, she'll look at me with a teasing grin and say, "Worried yet?" I'll roll my eyes, but deep down, I'll feel grateful. Because now, we understand each other a little better. And that understanding makes all the difference.